Science fiction anime series have some of the best world building across the genre. Though many series recycle the same tried and true tropes, sci-fi staples like spaceships, mechs, and unexpected plot twists never get old. Futuristic, dystopian settings that ponder the potentials of modern technology continually excite viewers. Whether it's anime or Hollywood movies, science fiction is always popular. There's no shortage of titles in the genre. Anything could happen as long as the story is engaging and the characters are compelling. In fact, some of them are perfect for introducing new anime fans to the medium. 10. Inuyashiki. Inuyashiki is a sci-fi anime about Ichiro, an average office worker who's just trying to make ends meet. He's the black sheep in his family, and even after he built them a shiny new house, he couldn't get as much as a. One day, Inuyashiki is diagnosed with a fatal, lifelong disease. The news shook him to his core, so he took a walk to get his thoughts straight. Unfortunately, a UFO crashes into him, and his body is rebuilt into a robotic weapon of war. Inuyashiki is a twisted series with tons of body horror that fans of Tokyo Ghoul and Parasite will surely love. 9. Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist is a classic science fiction anime from the 2000s. With a steampunk aesthetic, the series is an interesting mixture of medieval mythology and sci-fi. It follows brothers Edward and Alphonse Elric, who want to use the Philosopher's Stone to restore their bodies after they were unable to resurrect their mother with alchemy. Fullmetal Alchemist doesn't only have amazing, intense action sequences, but it also delves into enthralling philosophical dilemmas and some heartbreaking scenes. However, this series also contains plenty of hilarious moments, so it's not a very dense anime either. 8. Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star came out in the last 90s, but it's a timelessly fun series to watch. It's a space western that instantly became a classic. Gene Starwin leads the titular Outlaw Star's crew through many exciting adventures. The crew of the Outlaw Star is hunting for the galactic ley line, a treasure that most would only consider an urban legend. Fans of classic shonen series like One Piece would certainly enjoy Outlaw Star, but it's also perfect for any sci-fi anime fan looking for a feel-good adventure series to brighten their day. 7. Cyberpunk. Edgerunners. Based on the popular video game Cyberpunk 2077, Cyberpunk, Edgerunners is a short anime that doesn't hold any punches. Set in a metropolis called Night City, this anime revolves around David, who becomes an edgerunner, a sort of mercenary. Night City is a dystopian futuristic world in which corporations control 6 districts. The best aspects of this anime are its extraordinary art, particularly the fascinating color palette, and its savage and absurd but thoroughly engaging characters. 6. Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is among the most popular and innovative science fiction anime series. It combines intense post-apocalyptic action with real-world science to enthrall viewers. It centers around the compelling journey of Senku Ishigami, a boy genius and science prodigy who awakens to an Earth where everyone has been turned into stone. Now, it's up to Senku and his newfound friends to rebuild millions of years of human progress with nothing but his stock knowledge of science and trial and error. Dr. Stone is a unique shonen anime where the protagonist is more brains than brawn and more pragmatic than idealistic. 5. Psychopaths. Psychopaths isn't as futuristic as other sci-fi titles, but it shouldn't be shrugged off or disregarded. It's actually a better fit in the cyberpunk subgenre. In Psychopaths, society relies on a calculated assessment that can predict crimes and criminals before they happen. This technology makes the job of law enforcement personnel, or enforcers, a bit easier. However, this system isn't always accurate, making certain cases harder to crack. Shinya and Akane, the series protagonists, certainly have their work cut out in this anime. 4. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Neon Genesis Evangelion's story is like a puzzle. A race of giant beings whom the humans called angels awakened on Earth and began causing all sorts of mayhem. The only line of defense against them is biomachine mechs called Evangelion, which only temperamental or unstable teenagers can pilot. The protagonist is the iconically imperfect Shinji Ikari. His father cares little for him, and he's a troubled teenager, which somehow makes him the perfect candidate for an EVA pilot. It's hard to pinpoint what makes Neon Genesis Evangelion so good, but it remains one of the best sci-fi anime of all time. 3. Darling in the Franxx. Most sci-fi anime series aren't optimistic. In fact, many sci-fi anime protagonists view the proverbial glass as 99.9% empty. However, Darling in the Franxx is a diamond in the rough. In Darling in the Franxx, survivors of a deadly war against aliens train the younger generation to get retribution. They use giant mechanical weaponry called the Franxx. Hero, the protagonist, nearly gives up on his goal to become a pilot until meeting Zero 2. Meeting her restored his optimism, proving the power of love. 2. Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss is one of the medium's darkest and most compelling sci-fi titles. It takes place in the underworld, or abyss, and it always has a sense of foreboding dread. Something terrible is always about to occur, and the world building constantly keeps viewers in anticipation of the worst. The titular abyss is a dark chasm where only the toughest spelunkers dare to venture. Rico, the protagonist, is intrigued by a sentient robot named Reg. He wanted to find its creator and figured they'd only be found in the abyss depths. Reg's memories must also be recovered somewhere inside the darkness. The series is a must-watch and the perfect introduction to the genre. 1. Space Brothers. Space Brothers is a nice change of pace from all the darkness and the monsters in other sci-fi anime series. It centers around two brothers who swore to each other in childhood that they would become astronauts. Fast forward to adulthood, reality happens, and their paths in life diverge. However, their dream is still intact. Both wanted to be astronauts. Space Brothers follows their journey as they try to fulfill their childhood dreams in a combination of comedy, slice of life, and sci-fi in one heartwarming seinen mix.